what you refer to as phase one, the planning, we started, the Gauteng province started with the Gautrain project or something, thinking about a system such as Gautrain in 1998. Gauteng has a twinning agreement with the Bavarian government. A German consult company came out and did a pre-feasibility study on a system such as Gautrain, found it to be feasible. And then in 2000, the province commenced with the feasibility study. And in 2001, when the feasibility report was tabled to the Gauteng cabinet, it was found to be feasible. At that stage, we also decided to have a public-private partnership. And with hindsight, maybe Gautrain was too big for a public-private partnership. And not one of the reasons, but one of the issues that affected us when we went out looking for international partners in 2001, towards the middle of that year, the clouds of the weapons scandal was gathering on the horizon. And people were hesitant. There was a lot of pessimism about Africa. And we knew from a project team and from the province that if we fail on this project, we will fail more than not delivering on Gautrain, but we will also fail to a certain degree in investor confidence in South Africa, especially with big infrastructure projects such as the Gautrain. We then had our investor conference, International Investor Conference in 2001. The decision was made it will be a public-private partnership. And then we commenced with the environmental impact assessment, which was it took us 2 years. It's the biggest EIA ever done in South Africa. But if you see some of the environmental challenges SANRAL now faces with the tolling of some of the roads in Gauteng, especially with the placement of some of the toll gates, when it seems to be that the necessary EIAs were not followed. The 2 years we've invested in doing the EIA carried its dividends. Also just to keep in mind, Gautrain was never a 2010 project. We commenced with the planning of Gautrain, as I said, in 98 with the pre-feasibility. The real planning started in 2000, 4 years before we've announced before the Soccer World Cup was awarded to South Africa. We signed the concession agreement with a concession company at the end of September 2006. At that stage, the dates were not available. We looked at technical for the Soccer World Cup. We looked at technical feasibility, financial feasibility. When will we be able to be ready on the airport link? The date was signed as 45 months after the signing of the concession agreement, which brought us to the 27th of June 2010, about 3 weeks after the commencement of the Soccer World Cup. We then, with a concession agreement, and we have about 100,000-page concession agreement with the concession company. The Bombela Concession Company was announced the preferred bidder in July 2005, and we only signed the concession agreement at the end of September 2006. So that gave us about 14 months of high impact, intensive negotiations, because with the PPP it's all about risk allocation. What risk is the province taking or government taking? What risk is the private company, the concessionaire taking? So when we wanted to be ready, or thought we would like to be ready for the Soccer World Cup once the dates were announced by FIFA, the concession company came back with an offer where they said they can be ready, but it will cost about 1.8 billion rand to have it ready 3 weeks in advance. Towards the end of 2009, Premier Mokonyane then said it will be ready when it has to be ready on the 27th of June. The province has other priorities. We can't invest 1.8 or 1.9 billion rand into a project that was not made for 2010. The concession company then came to the party, and we opened 3 days before the kickoff. We opened on the 8th of June 2011. That morning, because we all wanted to be on the commercial train, as I was driving down Rivonia to turn into West Street, 5 o'clock in the morning to get into our parking, there were queues of cars outside. And for the first time, I realized you can be too successful in communication and marketing, because we created so much anticipation. Everyone just wanted to be on Gautrain. So that was the planning phase. The phase two, what you refer to as phase two, started with the operations on OCD1, which we call our operating commencement date 1, which was the 8th of June, the airport link, which include Sandton Station to Marlborough Station, Rhodesfield, and OR Tambo Station. We commenced with that on the 8th of June, and Julian, in the meeting we had just before the time, and that's also questions many people ask us, or a question many people ask us, why do we only open at 5:30? Well, the first train out of Sandton to OR Tambo is 5:24, and I was sort of just on time when I caught that train to be in time for my 6:30 flight out of OR Tambo. We finish at the operational hours, currently finish at 8:30 at night, which also doesn't give you enough time if you're on an 8 o'clock flight. You touch or go, or you will not make the 8:30 flight up train out of OR Tambo. The challenge we face, we're still busy with construction, is at Sandton Station. We're constructing from Sandton to Rosebank and to Park Station, Johannesburg Park Station, and we cannot carry passengers, trains with passengers and construction trains on the same line. So at this point in time, it's still a battle between construction time and operational time. Another question we get a lot is, why do we have to go to Sandton to get onto the airport train? Why can't you get on at Marlborough? We're considering that, but all this leads to variation orders and lots of discussions with the concessionaire. But all those kind of operational issues are currently under discussion, and we're busy revising the sort of operational hours and stations. And for even contemplating a system such as Gautrain, very soon there was a lot of intermodal competition. There were comments that we should rather invest the money into upgrading the existing metro rail systems. Metro rail is a national competency. Gautrain was built with Gauteng, or is being built with Gauteng Fiscus money and provincial borrowing. But for us, it was always far more than only a transportation project. When we started in 2000, the province had surplus money. They, at that stage, it was MEC Jobo Muleketi, which was the MEC for finance. They started something called Blue IQ, and I'm sure most of you still remember Blue IQ, which was sort of investment in the infrastructure in Gauteng. And for us, Gautrain was always about job creation. We will, by the end of Gautrain, have created about 97,000 direct and indirect jobs. Skills transfer, we had international partners, a lot of skills transfer took place. Investment facilitation, we had to look at getting away from the apartheid planning of cities, where people live in the inner cities, they are transported to townships or to suburbs, have to look at a change of land use. And we see that happening, especially in Rosebank. Sandton was always a commercial retail hub, but a lot of development is taking, land use development and change of land use is starting to take place in Rosebank. The upgrading of the areas around Johannesburg Park Station. So there's really a lot of spin-offs, some planned. When we started with the planning for Gautrain, on each of our stations, we had station development frameworks, which we worked with the local metropolitan authorities in establishing that. And those station development frameworks are taken up into the spatial development frameworks for the cities, or into the integrated transport plans. So a lot of them were planned. And then there were a lot unplanned, which is good for the economy of Gauteng. We had, during the recession, and when there were a fall in property prices, the only property prices that in Joburg that really escalated or retained their value were property around Gautrain station nodes.
Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.